And now, race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here's your Grand Marshal, Carol Shainheit.
Drivers, start your engines.
The engines are fired. We're here in Michigan. Michigan International Speedway is the next opportunity for some young driver to fulfill their dream of getting to victory lane. The 2010 season has already seen 5 different drivers claim their first career wins, from a rain-soaked road course to a half-mile high-bank track, and from a 29-year-old ARCA veteran to a driver not yet old enough to race on a super speedway. The possibilities are broad enough any driver may find victory lane today. Today, 41 drivers are in the Irish Hills of Michigan to test their skill and finesse at nearly 190 miles per hour. Welcome to the ARCA Racing Series presented by RE/MAX and Menards. It's the Racing for Wildlife 200 from the Michigan International Speedway. Rains came through the area earlier today. The temperature now 77 degrees, partly cloudy, but we are looking forward to 100 laps of racing from Michigan. 7 races already in the books. Patrick Sheltra topped your point standings, 30 points in front of Justin Marks. Mikey Kyle back there in 3rd. Steve Arpin and Craig Ghost rounding out your top 5. Craig Ghost, with his win from 6 days ago, is able to put his name into the top 5 in the point standings. Let's go trackside to Wendy Venerini.
Thank you, Rick. Craig Ghost starts from the pole today here at Michigan. It was just 6 days ago in victory lane at Pocono. When I talked to Craig, he said Monday it was a totally different story. Nobody knew I had just won the ARCA race. He went back to work at the dealership as the sales manager, where he dealt with some angry customers, not concerned that he had just won the ARCA race. He hopes to make it a repeat here in Michigan today. The car he races today is the same car he raced at Texas, where he finished 2nd to Steve Arpin. Now let's head over to Jim Trado.
Same story here, Wendy, for Mikey Kyle, the number 25 car. Die Hard, the sponsor for the 2nd straight race, and really it was a heartbreaking run for him at Pocono, leading 67 of 80 laps, yet coming up short and finishing 2nd in this very race car. What Mikey Kyle has as an advantage is the Toyota power here. 1.5 mile racetracks, intermediate tracks, the Toyotas have proven strong. 3 of the top 5 finishers at Pocono were Toyotas. Here today, 4 of the first 5 cars at the head of the field are Toyota Camrys. Mikey's bringing back a very fast race car, a car he led in testing here at Michigan a couple weeks ago, so he's very confident, and he's going to shake off what happened last week and learn from that, and he will be up front if he has a plan to the finish to be first. Guys?
Thank you, Jim Trado, and welcome everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons. We've got our own Mikey up here, Michael Waltrip, joining us for the ARCA Racing Series. Now, Phil, we come to this racetrack, and we're the first of 3 races. This is the ARCA Racing Series, then the Camping World Truck Series, and the Cup Series. So a big opportunity for these drivers today.
It really is, and a lot of guys have used this opportunity to showcase their talent. Casey Mears is one here in this very race. Reed Sorensen, Stephen Wallace, Eric Darnell, David Strimmy have all come here to try to show the people that they can get it done on this kind of racetrack, and that's what all these guys out here are going to try to do. They know that the Truck Series owners are here watching. They know that the Cup Series owners are here watching. It's a tremendous opportunity. If they run well here, then some people are going to notice.
You know what I love, Rick? They're going to show off here. They're going to want to show these owners what they've got, what they can do on this big, fast Michigan 2-mile racetrack. Then they're going to load up, take a month off, and get to the heart of the schedule, where they're going to race on dirt. They're going to race on short tracks. I mean, road courses, super speedways. That's what's going to define this battle for the championship. The top 8 are only separated by 200 points, so a lot of things are going to happen this summer, and I promise, if you can win at Michigan and then go win on the dirt, it's going to get someone's attention.
And Parker Kligerman did exactly that last year. He won here at Michigan and won both those dirt races, had never been on dirt before.
And by the way, normally we all wear the same outfits, but Michael just came off of the racetrack after qualifying, and so that is the reason for the driver's suit up here. But that gives him a great perspective of what's going to take place on the racetrack today in the ARCA Racing Series. Crowd awaiting the green flag, and when we come back, we'll see 100 laps from Michigan. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by RE/MAX. Find your dream home at RE/MAX.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And welcome back to Michigan International Speedway here in Brooklyn, Michigan. It's turned out to be a gorgeous day. We want to take a look at our starting grid as 41 cars will take to this 2-mile racetrack. Up in the front row, it's Craig Ghost, who won most recently in Pocono, and Mikey Kyle, who actually finished second in that race. They will make up row 1.
Back in the second row, we have our point leader, Patrick Sheltra. As a matter of fact, the top 3 qualifiers are exactly how they finished last week at Pocono.
Clay Rogers has run some Camping World Truck Series races. He'll start on the outside of row 2.
Nelson Piquet continues to impress. Formula One veteran coming over here, going to try to ply his trade at stock cars and trucks, and qualifies up in the top 5.
In row 4, Steve Arpin, Joey Coulter. Steve got his first win of the year earlier and backed it right up with his next win. So a 2-time winner this year already.
A guy with a little bit of momentum coming in here to Michigan is Frank Kimmel. A couple of top 5 finishes in the last 2 races, and he knows how to win a championship or 2. You put him on a roll, he'll be trouble this summer.
Or 9.
Yeah, maybe 9's closer.
9 championships for Frank Kimmel. You see the rest of the field. Again, 41 cars starting.
Look back there in the 19th place. That's Rob Brent. The reason why I mentioned him, last week at Pocono, he qualified all the way back in the 33rd spot and drove up to 6th. He was the only one of the top 10 that didn't start in the top 10. So that tells you he doesn't really care where he qualifies. He was fast in practice earlier here at Michigan, and he didn't get a good qualifying run again.
See Chase Mattioli back in row number 13. Had a career day going at Pocono last week. Broke a drive shaft on pit road.
I raced with Larry Metters back when I first started. He was black number 05, and he won all the races around Owensboro. He's still plugging away at it, just like I am.
Guys, let's take a look at our Burger King track description. Of course, Michael, you just came off the racetrack. Talk a little bit about this 2-mile racetrack.
Well, you know, at Pocono, you could understand the importance of starting up front. It's very difficult to pass. The turns are flat, and you know, it's really hard to make your way up through the field. But here, it's on. You can go every which way when you get to the corners, Rick. There'll be guys that will have success riding right up next to the fence, and there'll be other guys that can do the same thing right at the bottom of the racetrack. So where you start here at Michigan doesn't really have a whole lot to do with where you're going to finish, other than this is a high horsepower track. You know, you got to have a lot of power to be fast here at Michigan. So if you get it all buckled to the ground properly in qualifying, that shows you've got that fast car to win the race with.
Bill, our race analysis, 100 laps, 200 miles.
Yeah, you can see the race is 100 laps, pit window 40 to 50. A couple of crew chiefs in the garage area told me they thought their engine builders said, I believe we can make this on 1 stop. Remember, these guys qualified yesterday. They did not top these cars off with fuel, so they know they've got 3 or 4 laps of fuel out of these cars.
We'll ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being the 16 of Joey Coulter. He will start in the 8th position as he'll try to move up to the front. We'll ride along with him. We've got another camera on Steve Arpin's car in the number 55, and he starts in the 7th position. So those two making up row number 4. Let's go back to the track and hear from Jim Trado.
Guys, just thought I'd point out one driver to watch in this race is Chad Finley. Home state race, a huge event for him. Just his 3rd start in the season. But if you recall, last race at Pocono, he finished 3rd, and he said, you know what, we have a better car for Michigan. Airlift, the sponsor on this race car, has been involved with NASCAR since 1949. They're making a return here with this young Michigan pilot, just 18 years of age. Certainly has a very bright future, but man, after Pocono last week, and he has a better race car this week, don't count out Chad Finley. Wendy?
Thank you, Jim. Another guy to look for today is Clay Rogers. It's his first start in 2010. The last time he raced with us in ARCA back at Rockingham last year, he finished 5th. Now, Clay is well known in the Pro Cup Series, has 3 of the last 5 races of wins. Clay Rogers hopes to repeat victory lane for the first time in the ARCA Series.
Green flag in the air.
And it is not sanitary. It wasn't clean at all. Clay Rogers got on the gas, and his car went every which way.
Mikey Kyle, the 25 car, started from the outside of the front row, completely sideways when he jumped in the throttle.
Craig Ghost was the first to cross the stripe when the green flag flew. Of course, our pole winner. Patrick Sheltra has moved up into the 2nd spot in that green number 60.
There's Nelson Piquet Jr., the 6th car, trying to work his way under Joey Coulter. There's Frank Kimmel. Frank had a very good race car. Felt like he should have qualified.
Oh, man, that's tough.
You got a little bit loose there, Nelson Piquet.
You get up that close to another car, Piquet will learn. It'll go around on you in a hurry.
Frank's going to make it 3 wide here.
We saw in the Burger King track description, obviously it's a 2-mile racetrack, but it seems like they are turning almost the whole way around this place. The corners are huge.
They're very sweeping turns, and they're not banked a great deal. You know, usually when you have this type of speed, over 200 miles an hour down in the corner, you got a little bit more banking to lean against. Here at Michigan, what you have is a lot of room to negotiate your, to let your car slide up the hill if it won't stick. But like PK on the inside of Coulter, when you don't have that room, it gets a little dicey.
Mikey Cal goes right to the bottom of the racetrack, has a great run through the center of the corner, pulls up a side of the 60 of Patrick Sheltra.
So they're side by side, coming out of 3 and 4. Those two battling for the second spot. Again, Mikey Kyle started second, but lost that position to Patrick Sheltra on the start of the race, and now Sheltra's battling back on the outside.
It's all right below that. His career best finish last week at Pocono, second, and severely disappointed to finish second last week at Pocono. Had a pole run by over 0.8 of a second, Michael, over the second place guy. Dominated the early part of the race, but Craig Ghost was in the right place at the right time, caught a break with a caution flag, and held off Mikey Cal for the win.
Look at how good that car is down on the bottom. That's really difficult to do. He can't quite complete the pass, but he's certainly holding his own down there. Sheltra's got it wound up on the top side, taking advantage of the aerodynamics too. He doesn't have a car to lean against, so he's got plenty of air to lean on, and that makes the turn easier for him to complete.
One of the things a lot of these drivers have to rely upon is 2 weeks ago there was a test session here, and so they were able to get some track time, and one of the fastest was that 25 of Mikey Kyle.
As a matter of fact, the guys that qualified first, second, and third were the 3 fastest cars in that test. Not in that order, but nonetheless the top 3 guys were in the top 3 positions. Any track time these guys can get is going to help.
Now look, Clay Rogers just saw what a time Mikey Kyle had down underneath Patrick Sheltra, but what'd he do? As soon as he got a chance, dove right to the bottom. He said, you might not make it, but I think I can. But that's very, very hard. If you can understand, that car on the outside is just sucking all the air off your car. It's wanting to pull it around, and it makes it really hard to run on the bottom of the racetrack. If you can get it wound up on the top side, going's a lot easier.
Steve Arpin here in the Mike's Hard Lemonade as we ride along and see the battle just in front of us. Again, that 42 also in this mix is Clay Rogers, just behind the 60 and the 25.
Meanwhile, Craig Ghost has left this group. He's almost 3 seconds ahead of the second place car because of that side-by-side battle for 3 or 4 laps.
The 25 and 55 are team cars from Venredi Motorsports.
Hey guys, let's look at the start of this race. It was so fun. Well, for us.
Yeah. Not real sanitary. Watch that Mikey Kyle on the outside of the 25 car.
Watch out. If you wonder how much power these cars have at home, he's running 55 or 60 miles an hour. Goes to push the gas down, just spins those rear tires, and those tires are sticky. They got a lot of grip, but he didn't have enough grip to get all that power to the ground. He about crashed there early, and look at the result. 3 and 4 wide in the first turn. 850 horsepower they're trying to get hooked up to the ground here. Mikey Cal took another run at Patrick Sheltra, not able to do anything. Now Steve Arpin is going to go after Clay Rogers.
Looks like he's going to take that spot away from Clay.
Look how good that 25 car is through the center of the corner.
He's going to make it this time.
Yeah, we saw it before, him going to the bottom of the racetrack trying to get by the 60. This time he makes the pass, takes over second, so Mikey Kyle moves back up into the second spot. Patrick Sheltra drops back to third, but right now no one has anything for Craig Ghost, who is almost 4 seconds in front of second place.
There's a good battle back here. That's Grant Enfinger in the inside. The 09 car. Rob Brent just went by him. The 36 car on the outside. That is a battle up just inside the top 15. A battle for 13th.
Both these guys know how to get to the front. Certainly, we talked about Rob Brent last week, driving all the way through the field up to the 6th spot from 33rd. So, and that's Chad McCumbee, the 1 car. He's a former winner. 2 wins in this series. They're very, very slow on the inside of the racetrack. Got Rob Brent out of the throttle that allowed Grant Enfinger to drive by on the outside. Looks like Enfinger's got a good run. He's going to go to the bottom of Chad McCumbee. Those guys really checked up when they got down into turn 3 there, and Enfinger's going to take advantage of that.
I talked to Grant in the garage area yesterday. Said they don't have a whole lot of support to run many more races, but whenever he shows up, he really runs well. Had a couple runner-up finishes. He's only had 11 previous starts in his career and 2 runner-up finishes last year at Chicago and Talladega.
Did you see how he respected that position he was in as he went into turn 1? He knew he was really low, had a car on his outside, so he really backed up the corner, got in easy. It cost him the position there on the track, but it certainly kept him from spinning out and causing himself bigger problems. Look, now he's going to go down on the low side and complete that pass.
Yeah, great run through the center of the corner, much like Mikey Kyle was able to do to get by the 60 car Patrick Sheltra.
So Josh Richards in the 99 drops back a spot. Grant Enfinger takes 11th away from him. Back up front, though, Craig Gose. Nobody's going to take anything away from him. He has over a 3-second lead over Mikey Kyle. Steve Arpin running in the 3rd spot. Sheltra and Rogers rounding out our top 5.
I wonder if they had